Hey guys, now we're going to do a reading. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. As a matter of fact, let me get that. I want to get that chakra energy going on. Let me close that door a little bit. Oh, I'm ready for it now. I just had I had to take a little break, and it is happy birthday to me. Yes, here we are. Okay, we're a little bit into the birthday, and but I just did a rant on my spirit talk. I was telling I told a cool magical story. You know, kind of talked about a little bit about my past and people I've known, and then I went into a rant and screamed at everybody. So but you never know what you're gonna get on this channel. But I guess some things need to be said. You'll just have to watch my latest spirit talk. Let's get. I don't want to go into it too much. But yeah, we're going to talk about the University of Idaho murders. This is kind of, the aftermath. There's a lot of questions, and I'm going to do my best to see if it's possible that Spirit can answer. Now, before I go into this article, I just want to review some cards, because this article is on CNN. Idaho suspect in student murders thoroughly cleaned vehicle. That's really not a surprise. Also seen wearing surgical gloves multiple times outside family home. But this card pops up in one of the videos. I mean, it's in one of them. Okay, check it out. Look at him cleaning his car. Yep, it sure was. Now, you see the cat? There might be some kind of story where a cat helped solve the crime because he took a pee. I don't know if that'll pop up, but there's something on that. That might be a rumor. The death card, of course, popped up. But see that spirit in the background? Right there? I remember acknowledging that. That's definitely in the sedan one. As a matter of fact, what I was focusing on, that was right next to this one. See that knife? Anybody remember that? If you haven't seen it, that was the giveaway for me, that the killer had, they really did, whatever white car, that was them. That is a knife in evidence. Will they get the knife in evidence? Well, they have the sheath, okay? And we're going to talk about that, because I got some questions. Matter of fact, on JB Gunner's channel early this morning, he was questioning about that. Why would you bring a sheath? Wouldn't you take it out in the car and then go in? Why would you? And so that's why what I want to sit with, was that intentional leave it? Maybe he didn't know his DNA was on it. Maybe you try to make it look like, a military person, throw things off. Okay, because he's done his whole criminology shit, right? The Hierophant. I wanted to just go ahead and show this card in case you guys never saw the ones where I used this deck, Everyday Enchantment Tarot. This was Chief Fry. That is the Hierophant card, which normally is a pretty good guy. The Hierophant is the Pope very often. But the ceremony magicians really try to get away, even though he looks like the Pope, from being the Pope. So a lot of times we look at him for in tarot as spiritual knowledge. He could be the knowledge one. And notice there is students in this one. See the students? Okay. So he was definitely our go-to watching, but he kind of looks like him a little bit, just a little bit. So I definitely, when I would see that, I would think of that. But the star was the good one. The light at the end of the tunnel, the hope for the poor little city of Moscow. For the students, the light at the end of the tunnel was coming. So there was hope there, right? And he's caught. We know what to do, right? We're kind of past that point. Innocent until proven guilty, but this is not a court of law. This is YouTube, in the sense that there's a lot of evidence, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let's go and read this article. CNN. It was posted. Well, this is on January 6th. Obviously, he's going to clean the car. I mean, that's and I have a feel he might have had plastic down. But let's go ahead and talk about it. This is on CNN. January 6th, the man accused of murdering the 4 University of Idaho students in November had thoroughly cleaned the interior and exterior of his car, and was also seen wearing surgical gloves multiple times. You guys probably saw that, some photos, before being apprehended. So he was definitely trying to not leave DNA anywhere he went. He had to know he was being watched, right? Bryan Kohberger, 28, is currently the sole suspect. We know the names. Okay, we'll try to shorten it. They kind of talked about his PhD. He was going to school for that. And, but yeah, they're talking about cleaning the car. That's so obvious. We almost don't need a car for that. Of course he's going to clean the car, but it did come up, in one of them. And as Kohberger now remains behind bars in Idaho, waiting a January 12th status hearing. Of course, we're going to be glued to that. New details have emerged, elucidating some of the suspect's movements in the days up to his arrest. I know we have been very surprised. We want to look at Dylan. Now, I do want to say, before I get into it, the frozen and paralyzed. I know some people have a hard time. Oh God, I think my internet's it's been really bad. Let me switch gears because my it's man, I actually added power to it. I called the place, but I still got to get my new router or whatever. It sucks. But anyway, yeah, we got plenty of juice on this. But let me get that again. Bryan Kohberger and CNN. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Should match.
Oh, hold on. Bryan Kohberger and Idaho Murders and CNN. Where if I can find the article. Why are you going to this old stuff? Oh man, I know it was big news. Okay, is this the one? Yep, that's the one. So oh, but anyway, what I want to say, the fact that apparently the Dylan said she was completely paralyzed, frozen, could not move, shock. Okay, we need to understand and be respectful that shock is a real thing and can do very powerful things to a person. Okay, even leave them in shock for hours, Now, there's some things. Did she know there was a murder going on? Did she understand? Was she just fearful seeing this? Just think of that, not only a masked figure, but the aura and the energy of someone. Did she see a knife, not see a knife? What's going on? Okay, we don't know the whole 100% story. But being paralyzed with fear can be a real thing that can actually last for hours. Now, apparently there was an unconscious person at one point. That may have been her. We're not 100% the whole story. But shock, and that's why I feel, why did she call 911? Shock? There is a thing. Matter of fact, let's see if we can find a halfway decent article on shock. Let me see. Articles on shock and fear. Just see what comes up. Okay, so, not electric shock. Let me see. Fear but not fright. Okay, let me do another one. Paralyzed with shock and symptoms of shock.
According to Cleveland Clinic, chest pain, dizziness, and nausea.
Okay, I'm trying not to find something that's talking about electrical. But yeah, there's neurogenic shock. Okay, that's a little bit different, but let me just kind of... Okay, because I know there's spinal shock and I'm trying to get the right one. Hold on, let me see if I can get a better one. Symptoms of shock from fear.
According to the Guest House Ocala, a major symptom of psychological shock is when you feel a surge of adrenaline. You may feel physically sick and find it hard to think straight. Your chest might feel tight, and you may experience a disconnection from what is actually happening.
Okay.
Like watching a movie of events compared to actually being there.
Here's a little thing on BetterHelp. If a person has emotional distress or sudden fright, their body releases adrenaline in the bloodstream, but this usually reverses itself in a healthy person. This is where confusion in the term shock sometimes occurs. The non-medical shock is a response to anxiety or fear. And what is it like to be in a state of shock? Feeling a surge of adrenaline, so just, various things, all kinds of things that happen. People, for instance, if somebody they may urinate, they may, just various things. There's various things can happen to the body. So, when people are like, well, why didn't she turn around and call 911? How did this psychologically affect seeing this? I mean, if somebody walked in, I'd be freaking shocked too. I don't know. How would I respond? Some people think they know. Some may go in fight or flight mode, and fight. Some may run, like fight or flight. We hear about that. Fight or run. Some people, but she was like, I couldn't move. I couldn't move, right? That actually, if anything, seems more credible than if she got behind the door and locked it and then didn't call, right? But if she's, kind of catatonic, physical shock is when you experience a surge of strong emotions and a corresponding physical reaction to a stressful event and so forth. Like for instance, a car accident or near miss. Have you ever almost gotten in a car accident? Being broken up with, well, that's a little, I suppose it could. A child having an accident or near miss. Situations that provoke fear, such as being in an airplane. Say, have you ever been on an airplane and, oh my God, here's turbulence? Witnessing something scary. We know that. Okay, so, just various things. But some symptoms, feeling a surge of adrenaline, jittery or physically sick, like you're going to vomit or have diarrhea. Your mind will likely feel foggy or like you can't think straight. Okay, so we could definitely seeing something like that. She can't think straight, right? Okay, you may feel out of body. Now, as a spiritualist, I know certain things could happen where people jump out of body. Okay, chest may feel tight, a disconnection from what is happening. Okay, like you're watching a movie or events unfolding rather than actually being there. You may feel intense anger, want to scream and yell, or, you may feel like you want to run, but maybe your legs just don't move, right? So there's a whole lot of things can happen. We may think we know how we would react, but maybe we don't know and stuff, and just various, symptoms. And sometimes it could last for hours. With various things. So, and you got to remember, she's kind of young. It's not like this is somebody who's been in the military for years, okay? This is someone young. I don't think we need to worry about too much about articles. We kind of know some things that we want to kind of look at. And so as you kind of hear this shock and standing there, in kind of fear, just remember that, one, it wasn't you, and you may have never been in that situation. There is also the other thing. Did she understand and comprehend what was going on upstairs, or does she think maybe it was a burglary? Maybe she doesn't understand. Maybe what she saw, the brain got foggy and everything got really weird. And then there is also sometimes that vibe. What is spirit trying to tell? Okay, we don't know. So it's real easy. People can kind of judge. Oh, no, she, but you haven't been in that situation. I haven't been in that situation. But imagine seeing somebody. There's these weird noises and there's something that's told her to kind of look. But then when she sees, like I said, if anything, it seems more credible to me what she's saying than if she got behind the door and locked it real quick and then didn't call 911. Okay, she then that would indicate that she had some kind of flight sense, could move at least, but paralyzed in fear is an extreme amount of shock. Okay, and people can be paralyzed. Like when we talk about deer in headlights and things like that. So there's some mystery there that what we're still going to try to take a look. So I know there's so many questions I know we have. I'm going to try to answer the best ability. Let me see if there's a halfway decent article. I know there's videos. I know JB Gunner did something, but I can't play the whole thing. Let's see. Questions people have in the University of Idaho murders since the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. See if there's a breakdown. We know certain things revealed. Man, there's a lot of December 30. I know. I'm trying to break down if there's any kind of question, like a list. But we know December 30th, we were all kind of, in the dark. But we're going to try to, I guess we're going to have to ask a lot of questions. So we're probably going to have to do a different strategy with the tarot to kind of look at and see what spirit has to say. But yeah, okay, here's an article January 5th. So among the new information, so here's some of the newer stuff, the DNA on the knife sheath. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of inquire a very coarse question. Let's go ahead and lower it and kind of check it out. So I would say, let's let, my one pendulum, I didn't bring it upstairs, did I? Or maybe we'll just grab the green pendulum. That's okay, because I'm going to have it choose the deck. Oh, well, wait a minute. I'm sitting here under a blanket. I'm trying to stay warm. I can never make up my mind. Okay, so let's do Little Thoth. And, there's Big Thoth. We'll grab that one. Okay. And, let's go ahead and grab Everyday Enchantment. It's been pretty good to me. I know we do have Light Seers is good too, but I think I'm gonna stick with these. Actually, or should I? Maybe I should remove one of them and toss it in. Hold on a second. Yeah, let's throw in Light Seers just in case. Just in case. I'm just getting the vibe. It might not even pull it, but sometimes you just got to go with the flow. That's the way it is. And we'll go and read some tarot. I know you guys are anxious for some questions. Like I said, I will do the best of my ability to see at least what Spirit says and interpret. So, I want to connect to the higher self, which is connected to the source. Am I connected? Show me yes. Show me no. Show me maybe which deck do you want to go to answer some of the questions I want to acquire. Yep, it does want to go to Everyday Enchantment. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. The very first question Spirit already knows that I want to ask is a few questions on that. Did he intend to leave the sheath there? That's one thing I really want to know. Why does he leave it? Now, and we're also going to ask, you know, the sad part, who was first. As a matter of fact, let's do that first. What does Spirit say, if it's humanly possible? Was Maddie and Kaylee first? Gemini. We got Gemini, 7. Okay. Okay, show me Xana and Ethan. Scorpio energy. We got Scorpio, we got Neptune, very blurry. I'm going to look at. So let's we got the Gemmies over there. We got that Scorpio energy there. I know she is a Cancer, but let's kind of go. We got Pluto. Yep. Definitely death. Okay. Okay, we got Libra, the balance scales. Okay, the doubles. Let me just talking to the Spirit. Let me just kind of see. Confusion, Neptune. Okay, we got that Scorpio energy. I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to sit with that. But definitely when I look at the girls, the Gemini rolls, okay, it does. But then I look over here, I got a lot of Pluto. I got some Pluto energy, some Scorpio energy that comes in strong. So just give me a moment there to think about it. And maybe we can do a little bit with tarot. It's not conclusive, what I wanted, so I'm not going to give an answer just yet. But the certain signs seem to be appropriate, definitely because our girls were Geminis. But I do notice Neptune, which can implicate a little confusion and illusion energy, is there. I've always felt Ethan is unexpected. Maybe Xana is not. Another thing I know, the male voice. You guys are curious about that. We got a whole lot of stuff we're going to look at. So I'm not going to pull too many cards since we're going to go several questions. This is a hard one to shuffle. Sorry, guys. I know, I got them just like you. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to look at Bryan Kohberger intent. We know it's pretty much him, right? Did he, what's the point in leaving the sheath? Was it an accident or was it intentional? That's what we want to look at. Okay, so we got that Nine of Wands energy. Now, this showed in the end of the Elantra rushing out, right? Getting out, and full of rage energy. Okay, we know that. So he was in a hurry. We could definitely kind of see that energy. He's in a hurry to get out. This is a get in and out deal. Six of Cups, which can be, past memories, childhood. I got this a lot for all of them, kind of representing, kind of the young people and everything. I kind of look at that. We got a dog in there. There is a dog. Okay, we've got 6. How many people were in the house? 6, right? Okay, so we got that. Now I'm going in, but this rushing in, this is also rushing in and also rushing out. So let's kind of go it. So we technically got 6 in there, 6 of Cups, right? Okay. Okay, we got the 6 of Coins. Hold on one second. Let me kind of see. I'm going to study the art for a minute. Okay, I know. Oh, okay. This is about giving gifts. Giving and receiving. Giving a gift, Giving and receiving. Give me a minute, though. Well, it's definitely a gift to us because having that DNA is a major gift. Was it intentional? Oh, there's the dog. The dog has always stood out to me. See, there's a dog in that one. See, it's just right there, kind of pointing. See, I'll tell you, we have always felt something with the dog. Remember, we talked about the dog a lot. Dog. Okay? And really, I really feel Murphy is a big help because his barking at 417 is very critical to the case. Okay? And even that little barking and that little pointing. Now, I know that's a woman, who's kind of dressed up and everything, but he's pointing. Okay? and stuff. And she's, and this has a Libra energy, okay, kind of the balancing. And she's, she's kind of dropping coins into the beggar's hands. Basically, everybody's begging for information and clues, and one was left behind. But that dog is there. The dog is a big clue. Kind of looking at that, I see the rushing. Okay, this definitely full of rage and just, there's obviously anger there, and he's going very fast. We know this is, and I think I even told you guys in reads, I feel this isn't somebody that lingered around for a few hours. This is somebody who got in and out. Okay, and that may have been Eight of Wands energy pointing to that, but I felt a very fast thing. Looking at Six of Cups, we got 6 people in the house, right? And they're young people. Six of Cups can be children, childhood nostalgia. We've got that, but leaving that behind. I mean, I know the six of coins lady is technically intentionally given to the beggars. Okay, this is really a gift and everything. Let me just go ahead and put a clarifier, and then this one has a Santa. Yep, there was. That gift really helped. With the case, the DNA, right? I talked about that Santa. Remember we talked about that in December. We were all hoping. Okay, and then we got that King of Cups energy. We got a dog in this one too, and everything, which a King of Cups normally is a much gentler energy. Now I've got this, it says I love dad. You see that? Okay, and we've had a daddy in this story all along, right? Steve is a big one. You see that little girl hugging dad? Let me kind of think on this. That's what it kind of makes me think of. I know there's a lot of daddies in this story, but he's the one who's been speaking a lot, and we've got a girl hugging her dad, and we got a dog on the other side. Definitely. Let's go ahead and look at this. Give me a moment. This one has paint all over his shirt. Maybe just doing art, but it's also kind of telling something. With various splatter. I'm pretty looking at the hurriedness and the craziness of everything. I know she's intentionally dropping coins in the beggar's hand. If it's intentional, why would you leave it though? I kind of feel, and there it is, cleaning out the car. Let me look at this one a little bit, okay? And there is a cat. Let me see if there's an article, because I know JB Gutter talked about it. Hold on. This might be a real thing. Give me a moment. I don't know if it's clarified, but it's possible he urinated and there was a cat involved. I wasn't able to catch the whole video. Hold on. Bryan, Kohberger, and Idaho murders and cat and urinating. I swear he was talking about it, that there could be an issue with a cat, something. Hold on. No, I can't. No, maybe it'll come out later unless it's a rumor. But there's something he stopped to pee or something, and there's a cat. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch his video. I'm not sure if it's there, but there is a cat in this one. Let me go ahead and look though. It's hard to. I'm having a hard time with it. I know the six of Pentacles is about giving gifts. I don't think this is a gift that he would want the cops to have and stuff. When I kind of look at that, she's kind of like dropping the coins into the beggar's hands. Everybody's begging for information, and even there is a little thing that says help. Okay, there is a thing that says help. And then we got the dog pointing. That dog is pointing there. Looking at the rushed energy, I'm gonna kind of feel this is not something you want to leave behind. Definitely doesn't want the dog pointing and stuff. I would say this, leave it behind. Like I said, she's dropping a coin. It's not intentional. I feel this is an accidental drop behind in actuality and stuff that didn't mean to do this, especially looking at the hurriedness of this energy here. I think it was an accident, but it is a real weird thing. Let me see if I can pull just one card. Why bring a sheath? Maybe he didn't want to cut his own self, or it's so weird. Okay. Okay, we got the King of Coins. since the King of Coins sometimes can be about various materialism, things like that, I would say he really just, I mean, he had some kind of weird bond with this tool. With this knife. I want you to think of something that came into mind, just something popped into mind. I know it's not a samurai sword, but like say when you're watching those movies and the samurai sword and they pull it out of the sheath, it makes me feel like it's like maybe he wanted a moment like that in some way to pull it out of the sheath. I know that's kind of hard to explain, but if anybody has ever seen those kind of movies, that kind of moment, I don't know, something kind of weird like that. Like, I really treasure this. This is the, just like, for a samurai, the samurai sword is like an extension of the soul, okay, in various ways, and so, and I hate to say it that way, but it's kind of true. So I kind of feel maybe, it would feel incomplete not to bring it, to have that moment of unsheathing. Okay, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's just something I kind of feel. And I know it's like, how do you get that from the King of Pentacles? Because of certain things with materialism value. I'm not sure how expensive a knife like this is, but seeing it like valuable and stuff. And, but looking at the rushedness, and even, I could almost say, yeah, she's intentionally dropping coins, but also, it's at the same time, I don't think it's something that he would want to drop, especially if it could have DNA. Looking at the little dog kind of pointing and stuff and the dog barking, Murphy actually, because of it alerting at a certain point, also is very helpful, in catching him too. There was a lot of other clues, but that barking also set a timeline, because not only, people on the outside, but even Dylan hearing the barking, narrowed a time. Okay, and even getting it on camera, is a very big thing. We all knew the dog was going to be vital and stuff. And now that we learned, the dog did bark, now we all knew. We all felt something with that. I think even a lot of us felt something very important with the dog. And sure enough, this situation was. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm feeling it was an accident. But there's something about just like I said, I just started to get an image of a samurai sword spirit. It's giving me just something about the unsheathing that moment. Okay, and I know that sounds really creepy, but that's what I kind of feel. Okay, so now we're going to go to another question. I know you have many questions. And everything. Now, I think it was in video 1, I did talk about a shoe print. There is a shoe print there. It's a van. That did come up. No, I'm sorry. That's it. It's in the bar and grub truck. I stand corrected. I may have mentioned it in the first one. I definitely mentioned it in bar and grub truck. I said it, I'm not sure, but I felt that the person might have a size 12 shoe. I know they are Vans. But I'm wondering, I'll have to see later if he's a size 12 shoe. Another question, and I know, of course, you're gonna want to see any kind of motive. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to that. Now, before I go to that, that's a very important question to answer. We know it's premeditated. We know there's some serious stalking that was going on. I'm going to try to see if it's possible to answer. You know what? Maybe, no, I'm not even going to have it. I'm going to go to Deviant Moon. Deviant Moon, because you're talking about getting the the motive, and it's going to need a little bit of a darker kind of shadow energy for this one. It isn't that right? I just want to make sure. Give me a moment to put this back in the thing. We'll go to Deviant Moon for this one and see what the motive was. Now, this is going to require more than 3 cards. Motive is a hard one, guys. We know he has anger, but why them? I don't know if it's possible. I will do my best to answer that question. I'm dealing with Scorpio energy after all. There's a lot of hidden kind of stuff. I know, but I'm Scorpio rising. I got some Scorpio in there. Woo, I'm feeling a little tired. I might have to go sleep after this. But I want to get this to you guys. Okay, what's the motive? What is the motive? Is there anger? I mean, I'm going to do my best to answer. Now, we know from Target Reads, I know Kaylee was 3 of Swords. Xana is 5 of Pentacles. Our Wheel of Fortune was Maddie. Ethan actually was he was the High Priestess reverse. In the sense, it was kind of a secret. He was a surprise. That's my Target cards. I know them. Let's go. It's I know, there's a lot of mystery here. That one's flipping in my hand. We're going to do the Celtic cross. We got the Empress. I'm telling you, I've always felt some mother energy there. You know, it's angry with mother, doesn't like mother. There's some mother energy there. I'm telling you, there's conflict with the mother. I don't know exactly the whole thing, but there is an issue with the mother energy here. We know he's a Cancer moon. We know there was a full moon in Cancer. And I know somebody sent the mother's birthday. She's an Aquarius, is what I found out. She's an Aquarius. But the mother, now this time I'm not getting Queen of Cups though, but the Empress is standing strong. The mother energy. Okay, so we know that. But the Empress also represents love, you know, Venus, love. I could, yeah, it does. But still. Definitely a hatred of women, as I'm kind of focusing. Empress is a major arcana, so we got to go a little bit bigger and deeper than just a person. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. A little bit of mother energy, but this is also overall women. There is definitely a problem. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but we do have an issue with women. This card is the Deviant Moon. Do you see that? Look at that. It almost looks like a snake tail, you know? It's kind of a strange creature. This is a strange card. This is a very moon ruled deck. It's almost like a reverse of, well, it's not a reverse of tarot. I don't like to put it that way, but some things are a little topsy-turvy in the Deviant Moon. Okay, so definitely kind of seeing, you know, maybe women is, you know, something, you know, definitely snakes and stuff. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and see what we got. Okay, Temperance reverse. Definitely, I'm going to look at it in this way, which can be about balance, and we've got a thing imbalance. Definitely, you know, when we kind of look at that, divine timing, things like that. There were some kind of weird things with timing. We know Kaylee's back in town. We know he was following on Instagram. He had to know she was coming back. He might have been like, this is my opportunity. If I'm going to get it done, it's got to be now. It's got to be this weekend, right? But he's definitely imbalanced, you know, and women also make him imbalanced as well. And stuff. Though I would, you know, he I'm sure he hates more than that. Here's that Six of Pentacles. There we go. It's popping up again. Remember we talked about bup. Okay, so let's kind of go ahead and look at it. Okay, we got a list of stuff behind. Just give me a moment there. What is the motive? I'm trying to focus on the people. Okay. Now I could also look at, you know, a Six of Pentacles energy. It's a give and receive, and sometimes, you know, somebody feels like they're begging. Did you notice something? Now I don't know if anybody would want to actually claim this, but there is something I've noticed. Something in the news. Now, it could come up later, but so far, no ex-girlfriends have come to testify. No ex-girlfriends are being put to task, being brought to the surface. Have you noticed that? It's still early in the game. It could come later, but so far, no ex-girlfriends coming to the surface, coming to the news saying, I dated him and I went through this, that. Not yet. Have you noticed that? See, a lot of times in cases, there may be maybe a girlfriend from the past, you know, the cops are going to find this, that. And I'm not saying maybe that didn't necessarily happen that we don't know of. But it's very interesting because I know how sleuthing goes, that no one is talking about any past girlfriends. Had he not had one in many, many years? You know? You know, remember incel stuff? We got the sun reversed. Okay, let's go ahead and just give me a moment there. We got the two little people there. A couple little people there. I'm definitely getting that Maddie and Kaylee energy with that one. Notice there's two little beings there. The giving and receiving, you know, maybe feeling like he has to beg for any little bit. Let's go ahead. Really focus on that. Yeah, this card came up before. I know. See that screaming at the child kind of energy? Okay, there's some problems there. There's some problems in this family. We've got 3 cups spilled, blood spilled. Now remember, this is the 5 of Cups. I know we can't get all 4 perfect, but we've got 2 survivors here. Okay, so we got 3 down, 3 women. Okay, I'm telling you, Ethan is not intended. His focus, I think it was on at least 3. Okay, you know, and we do have these others, but they're you know, the upside. Ethan, I feel, is like, whoop, I didn't see that one coming. We got the 3 cups, notice? But the 3 young ladies, I do believe. But at the same time, we still have one target. I'm pretty much betting here. Let's go ahead and keep focusing. We're not done. Going to past energy. Yeah, we definitely want to look at the Cavs. Yeah, Ace of Cups reverse. I really feel when situations, relationship, love, maybe has never, I get this, I get this kind of weird vibe feeling. Definitely we've got emotional problems, but maybe you never had a relationship or wanted love or rejected definitely love in past, but we got Ace of Cups reversed here. Okay, we got problems. We definitely have had problems with that. But definitely not. I'm not necessarily getting a heartache. Somebody broke his heart type energy, but we got the Ace of Cups reversed, so we kind of sit with it. There's the Devil. Okay, no surprises there. That's self-explanatory. But the Ace of Cups is very concerning. Maybe never felt like anybody loved him. Maybe never was able to be in love. Various things. I want to go ahead and focus. So give me a moment. I want to just. Queen of Swords. Knight of Pentacles energy can be women, very often single women, not exclusive, limited to. They normally will have self-love, self-confidence, sense of self-worth. They just have that, radiance and then that shine kind of energy. Queen of Swords reverse is, now I know I talked about Queen of Swords protecting the survivors. But I'm going into past energy. I mean, it could be, possibly there, part of that. But I know I had a Queen of Swords energy. But, I look at this is kind of standing out here. The single girls, you could say the beautiful girls, then we got the Ace of Cups reverse, not really loving them. But the Queen of Swords energy could be when it came to, obviously we said he was bullied, girls were mean, maybe girls may saying mean things. I don't always look at my Queen of Swords as younger, but Spirit could be trying to express women saying hurtful things. Made him into a devil. Well, it's hey, look, rejection happens. This is just a part of the path. He didn't have to necessarily go this way. He's been battling that devil on the shoulder for, well, if he even wanted to battle. Let's kind of go with, yep, there it is. You see the Lovers reverse. I am questioning. I want to sit with something in my mind. Now, I'm not sure if there's something sticking in my mind. Just I'm going to do this one quietly. It's not that I'm hiding anything from you. I wanted to because I look at this Lovers reverse and Ace of Cups reverse. Yes. Show me no. Show me, maybe is this person a virgin? Okay, no. Okay. I was just curious. I just had a thing. I wasn't trying to keep anything from you, but I was like, is he a virgin? Because that could be. But let's go ahead, and I'm not, not that it. We kind of want to know. I just want to see. I would probably go ahead and bet that it's probably been quite some time. Not because I know incels, like, sometimes they don't, I hate to say it this way, don't get any, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and bet that it's probably been quite some time that there's been any sex. Okay, I was just kind of sitting there inquiring, do I even want to go there on a YouTube? That's why I wanted to ask quietly, but no, he's not a virgin. It's not something like that. Yeah, see that Virgo energy, and I know Virgo can represent kind of prudence. I want you to think of, just if I just kind of step back with the Virgo. Oh. Virgo can represent the Virgin. Give me a moment. But no. But it is, the way it rolled is upside down, though. So, no. Just give me a moment. I got that Cancer, and I've rolled Cancer. Let me show you what I've got here. Cancer, and then we got the Moon. We know there's that Moon in Cancer in his chart, right? We got that kind of weird mother energy going on. But the Virgo, which can be the Virgin, kind of, it is reversed, so he's not necessarily a virgin, but I do think he had been celibate for some time. Kind of looking at those numbers, we do have, well, that would technically be a 9 and a 4. time is, I'm having a little difficulty determining actual time. Let me kind of, let me sit with that. But I definitely do feel it's probably been some time that there had been any kind of, sex. Definitely rejection and things like that. The lovers, with the Lovers reverse, Ace of Cups reverse, I'm feeling, there's been some issues there. Notice the Lovers also, as I'm kind of sitting there, is next to the Devil card. Okay, it's next to the Devil card. Definitely, kind of things with temptation. I told you guys in the first read, I feel there was maybe an intentional essay. Everything is kind of thrown off. Everything happens fast, but kind of getting in and out of there. It's there's definitely some chaos. Maybe going in that bedroom and two girls were in the same bed really kind of threw things off. I wouldn't have expected that, myself, if I was going to be, let's see what we've got. Knight of Pentacles, and I know, Knight of Pentacles, it could be, I could look at that even like with work and even his studies as well. One of the things he's trying to do this kind of work as his criminologist. I guess is that the word? Hopefully I'm saying that right. King of Wands energy. Let me kind of go ahead and look at that. He's definitely he's got that Leo Mars, trying to be kind of dominant, King of Wands energy as well, kind of dominating. He want to be kind of looked up at, respected, powerful, and powerful energy. Okay, so try to get a little bit of motive is coming in here. Obviously we pretty much know probably rejections by women, especially ones that, beautiful, self-love, self-confidence, sense of self-worth. I'm feeling probably it's been a while. He's not a virgin, but it's been a while. It's been a while since there's been any consummation. I noticed the Lovers reverse. It's been a while. Okay, next to the Devil, there's obvious temptations, but the Ace of Cups reverse, this is probably somebody who's probably not capable of love, but also even having love, being in love, but obviously drawn to the pretty ones. You could kind of say, single, but just not doing very well. Looking at the Queen of Swords reversed energy, which I know very much often can be an older type of energy, but I feel what Spirit is trying to say, because it's connecting it next to this one, hurtful words, things that we kind of know, maybe he was picked on, stuff like that, various things that kind of cut through. So we could definitely, it is so, of course, obviously we have some kind of, hatred with women. I'm telling you, I'm feeling yelled at as a kid and things like that. Notice that yelled at as a kid, and below we have 3 cups spilled. There's a contribution, but even maybe verbal abuse, other people saying, bad shit to him, bullying, a combination of, things said, and so forth. We do have a couple survivors here, thank God, but, leading up to the blood spilled. So there's a lot of pent-up anger, rage, with women. Now, I need to, what I'm trying to get to, Spirit. I know we got the Sun reversed. We got those, kind of skull things. I want to go, okay, why them? What is the motive? Now we're going to go into his feelings, attitudes, emotions. Now we know who the SOB is. Why them? See if you can give me anything here. Now we got the King of Swords energy reverse, which is okay, which I know, abusing the sword, trying to show his strength, power. Okay, we've got that. That is Leo energy. King of Swords reverse, we know, abusing the sword. Okay, trying to stand power. We know he came with the sword. He came with a knife. We know that. Okay, we know it. He wants to have a way to have strength, dominate. Of course, you can see even dominating that weird creature. Now, let me kind of go ahead and look. What else do we got? The Hermit reverse. So he's been, when I look at this Hermit energy, which is Virgo again, energy. I know he's clearly not a Virgo. But what I'm saying is, some of that, like I said, Virgin kind of energy, you could kind of say. The Hermit was in a cave, plotting, gaining knowledge, wisdom, education. Came out of his cave, you could say, slipped out and everything. He was ready to come out in the cave and act, with certain things that he had learned over time. But I'm still, obviously he struck them in their bed, in their sleep, and things like that. We know that. But I'm trying to get just, obviously wants to harm, obviously wants to dominate, control, pretty much whatever urges kept back. There was, one thing I wonder, why now? You know, why now? I mean, he's not graduated technically. But that's kind of thing. I know we got that Scorpio energy that was going on pretty strong. And then we got the two of Pentacles. I know we've, you know, most of us had felt more Kaylee was a target, but he was definitely watching the whole house, you know, and everything with that. And then we got the, you know, the two girls, they're so incredibly connected. Look at that kind of, do you see, now Spirit's kind of stopping me for a minute here. Let me look at this for a moment. Now we know he followed both Maddie and Kaylee on Instagram. And if you kind of notice, you know, this is, take no offense, they're beautiful girls. But see how this woman, she's just kind of the way she's dressed, and she's kind of, you know, kind of attractive, kind of sexy. She's kind of doing a belly dance and things like that. So definitely kind of drawn, you know, to certain things with, you know, attractiveness and things like that. Okay, we've got a little bit. So definitely, you know, drawn. I'm drawn to a shadow card. This is totally accidental, but I put the deck upside down. Always pay attention. Do you notice this? This is the Four of Cups. We know there are four, but you see that one cup being thrown over the edge. It's totally, sometimes things are accidental, but never in the world is spirit. So I'm actually feeling, I mean, I feel there's more of a draw to Kaylee, for sure. We know she takes the brunt of the stuff. He's well aware that she's probably not going to be the only one, right? But he's pretty much aiming at that. But just looking at the three cups, they look almost collected. The one cup is being thrown over the ledge. That's Ethan in the sense that, like, I know a lot of people have talked about collateral damage, or, you know, whoops, I didn't expect that one. Looking at the way it's being thrown over, definitely, I know there's kind of who was first, who was second. I don't know if I can answer that question. But, you know, it does kind of make me wonder just a wee bit. Did he go there first and Ethan comes out, hears something, and did something to get him out of the way first? I'm not sure about that. But I look at that cup being thrown over and see the three sitting there. I really feel, I've always felt Ethan is unexpected, but he comes up and we got to get, nothing against you, my man, but you're here. You know, kind of energy. You know, that's what I kind of feel. And as I say that, the Five of Swords, we know the battle, 4 down, and we got that smug son of a bitch who does the battle. Okay? So I really feel Ethan is not expected. That's pretty much affirming. If anything, even I do feel still Kaylee, I mean, especially because I've already read the target energy, but at the same time, it looks like still, you know, she may be the main, but he did intend to hurt more, looking at the Three of Cups there. But Ethan's unexpected. Let me get this out of the way. This is what I'm collecting here. This is what I'm collecting. Okay? What, isn't there something, wound collector? What is this? This is new to me. Give me a moment. People have been talking about a wound collector. Just that, it's popping in mind. Give me a moment here. I've seen it mentioned, but I'm not really familiar with the term. Maybe I'm, you know, new to some things. But I just heard it. What is a wound collector?
According to Psychology Today, wound collectors
that's something, okay.
collect social slights for their personal benefit in a way that's toxic or pathological. People become wound collectors usually due to a personality disorder, certain character traits, or emotional instability. Okay,
wound collectors intentionally look for and collect social slights for their personal benefit. I don't know how to define that, but it's a narcissist thing. It looks like. Let me see if there's a better definition. Oh my God. Well, hold on. Definition of wound collector.
According to Psychology Today, wound collectors intentionally look
here, this is from, okay, here's from Psychology Today, because I feel like I need to, the Spirit wants me to look at this. This is in Psychology Today. If there's one thing I've learned in 4 decades of law enforcement work is that there is no single reason for why people commit crimes. Perfect timing to find this one. Everything from impulsivity. I definitely feel, obviously this is premeditated, but it needs to be done now kind of feels. Okay. to immaturity to hatred. You better, we know that. There's, it's hard to nail it down. Yet every once in a while, when we look closely at the behavior of offenders, you begin to see commonalities, not necessarily casually, but rather common features or behaviors that should make us take note, look closer, explore, deeper question, or consider. See, I don't know. Spirit must have directed me to this article. Let's just see what it says. One such commonality or phenomenon was written about in the book Hunting Terrorists. I want to say that word carefully on here. A look at the psychopathology of terror, and later blog post for Psychology Day for this commonality, often seen with, I want to be careful with these words, extremists, terrorists, mass killers, and others. The term wound collecting was coined. Maybe that's why it's new. A wound collector, in essence, these are individuals who go out of their way to collect social slights, historical grievances, injustices, or unfair or disparate treatment or wrongs, whether real or imagined. Okay, so maybe this is what's making sense, is that he could sit there, well, I was a bully. Well, my mother was terrible. Wound. They don't forgive or forget. Oh, God, that sound... Scorpio don't. Now, please, if you are a Scorpio, I know there's a heavy Scorpio stellium. If you check my chart read, I also do have Scorpio rising. I do have Neptune, and I have Mars in Scorpio. I've got a little bit of Scorpio in there, so I understand, but I am Capricorn. But it's still good to know, certain areas of the chart that are dominant. I wouldn't say I'm a vengeful person, there are sometimes it can be real hard to forget if someone's hurt you. Okay, definitely. And I know that sounds very much a human thing, but but Scorpio can be kind of very brooding, very methodical, kind of stuff. It's real hard to forget. Let me give an example. Not that I would ever, obviously never do something like this, but I remember I had this friend. I had a friend. I was best friend, whatever. But she would, if she did things to annoy me, okay, I've got Mars, which can be, not only, my strength, my fire, but sometimes where it could be my temper, right? It's in the 12th house. 12th house is kind of hidden in the chart. That's where you kind of hide things. Not really like hide, but maybe hidden, brew, private. It can be kind of private, kind of energy. So, but let me explain how this one works. I really want to, if anybody ever gets his time of birth, I will be so excited to do his houses. So anyway, if she would do things that would annoy me, they kind of add up on a list. You could say, and you don't say anything about it. If you're Scorpio, you know. But especially if I got the Mars in the 12th, it really works like this. So instead of just blurting it out when somebody does something the first time, you might keep it to yourself. Let that go. Okay. And then something else happens. Okay, I'm gonna put that on my list. Motherfucker making me bad to try to play it off. Okay. So, it's up, you borrow my clothes, you bring them back. And then you finally get them back. Oh, they're fucking dirty and they got holes. That really happened. I loaned her $20. She didn't give it back. So you calculate a nice list. This is Scorpio kind of energy, especially Mars in Scorpio if it's stuffed in the 12th. So then there's that one final thing that finally, and then when you want to vent to that friend, here comes your list of wrong. You did this, and back in January, and I have had it. And here comes the list of everything that went back. And 2 years ago, you did this, and boom, 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 boom. And here it comes in the fire, and then boom, and everything. And you were cool, and you were real quiet, and you were secretive about, the things that were bothering you. And all of a sudden, bam, and your friend's like, shit, I didn't know you were upset about all this. Yeah, and let's talk about in December when you got me that shitty Christmas gift and I spent $300, and here comes the list of wrongs, and you finally vent. That's kind of Scorpio energy, especially Mars in Scorpio, and especially if it's stuffed in the 12th house. Okay, so to give that energy, where some people, it's like the first time somebody, oh, you did me wrong, and stuff, and and you just like, and you may speak up about it, or maybe, I'll just let it slide, and maybe a second thing happens. Let's have a conversation. Everybody handles their thing, but Mars in Scorpio, okay, let me just get that list. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it slide. And then finally you blurt it out, and you have a very good memory and listing of every single wrong they've done to you and stuff. And then they're like, where did this come from? So see, knowing that, I wouldn't call that as much wound collector, but maybe a a list of wrongs collector kind of energy. I've done that. I'm a much better person now. I blow a lot of stuff. Don't even worry about it. Just don't even take it personally, and stuff. Or just I'm gonna go into my Capricorn because I've been developing my sun all these years, and I'm just gonna cut somebody out of my life. I'm done and everything. And so we don't even have to affect that if I can help it. So let's go in what we were saying. Think of also Scorpio energy. They don't forgive, forget, and they don't move on. So a Scorpio can hold, they're like Capricorn and hold a grudge, but Scorpio is like, and then they may want to get people back. Get that revenge, okay? They wallow in the actual or often perceived transgressions of others, okay? See, Spirit wanted me to pull this. Okay, because they're giving us an answer, and it needed a bigger answer than maybe I could even. The Spirit's like, I can't list this all. Let me just pull you up this article. This is fitting. They wallow in actual or often perceived transgressions of others, and they allow sediments of animosity and vengeance to percolate and froth at the surface by their constant and attentive nurturing of those perceived wounds. So Spirit's clearly saying this is a wound collector. Okay, for one, the word popped up, but Spirit obviously can't download that entire article into my brain. This is a wound collector. So if I step back, and I'm going to finish the article because I'm actually fascinated with what I'm reading, because I think this is given insight. This whole thing is not, not entirely about the girls. This is about all the girls. Okay, this is about so much more. I remember what I said, see these beautiful, happy, pretty girls. Okay, and certain things just death and happiness, very first read, ground zero. I want to take their happiness. Okay, why should you be happy? You hurt me. Okay, but it's like, well, I don't know you. And wound collector, they represent something. Do you see what I'm saying? I kind of knew that going in, to a degree, and stuff. They can't go on and be happy. Look at my wounds. Okay, here we go. Pathetic, I know. As you can imagine, in an imperfect world where there are real injustices, where people make mistakes and stupid things are said and done, the wound collector never has to go far to feel victimized. So somewhere in this, you could say, he feels he's the victim. That's the fucking sad part. Now, Steve, I did catch a snip. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and watch YouTubes today. I swear to God, I live on YouTube. But when things like this are going on, this is my source. But I did see a snip. Hey, he could say he was bullied, and he could say that. Okay, but you can't do this. Okay. Lots of people have been, I would say, if I did a poll right now, and, just for my subs, and said, were you ever picked on in school? A lot of you would probably say yes. You probably dealt with someone, at least one person coming after you. Didn't like you, picked on you, made fun of you, whatever. And it's a sucky thing to go through, 100%. Or say if the opposite sex, when you're growing into puberty, is messing with you, or talking bad about you, that can be very hurtful. We understand and stuff, but this is what Spirit is trying to express to us to answer the question. And it actually did a very good job. It kind of led me to the article that, man, this fits. But it fits also with the tarot that is being laid down and stuff, that it's about so much more. Notice this Nine of Pentacles energy is in the past energy. This goes beyond, that, very often, often can be a woman, okay, a woman. Okay, but remember when we go, what's the very first card here? The Empress, who is Venus, Aphrodite, love. Okay? He has a very serious problem with women is the main issue, obviously. Okay, they're an easy target. Okay, you reject me, you make fun of me, wound. Somewhere in there buried, he's telling himself he's the victim and he's justified. That I gotta take my rage out. Remember what I talked, well, I always assume you guys saw it all, but when I'm doing the astro chart, this whole Jupiter, Sun, Pluto, conjunction energy, death, liberating something in himself through death. okay, seem to be a very strong energy. Now, I don't want to bash people. Like, I don't want you afraid if because you're born with Pluto conjunct that you know, don't worry. I have a Pluto trine, okay, and everything. And a matter of fact, Jupiter it can be a very positive, hence liberating planet. Many astrologers can look at it. If he would have gone about things the right way, could transform and heal and liberate in a positive direction. He chose the wrong road. Okay, so I don't see, this is one of the things, you know, when I've done, and I started with astrology before I went to tarot, guys. But, you know, I would say, you know, I mean, is my astrology a wee bit rusty? Not too much. I don't know. You can be the judge of that when you listen. But I try to let people know when you're looking at that chart, yes, hindsight's 20/20, you know, when you know he's a killer, okay? But you always, as an astrologer, want to also see what he could have become if he would have took the right path. The right path is always there, okay? And I don't want you guys to believe that necessarily people are born dark. You see what I'm saying? You know, that they come in there with you know, I know there was somebody had a YouTube where when they were interviewing somebody that's in jail, he felt that these people are born this way, but can we trust him? You know, maybe he feels he was born bad or something, maybe, but I really, it's a tough one. I think I kind of answered that one of the 2-year-old that pushed my son, you know, but there, you can always change and transform and be better. You know, if anything, Pluto teaches us that we can transform. Okay. We can rise like the phoenix, or we can, you know, we could go down into hell and not get out. Okay. It's up to you. You burn down, you know, you can either go to hell or you can rise. Okay. It's really up to you, but let's go back to the article, just kind of going in. But yes, definitely to liberate myself from my wounds, I got to go do this. He's the victim somewhere buried in there. That's the fucking sad part. That's what Spirit's saying. Wound collector. Spirit's going wound collector. Let's go in. It's really hard. Why do we call these wounds and not something else? Some have referred to these individuals as grievance or injustice collectors. Okay, now it's got to be the deal because he went into criminal justice. Okay, you know, this is the crazy thing. He's got this thing with justice, right? These terms don't do justice to the morbid pathology at work, and here are any more to call someone who suffers from bulimia or anorexia or a food adverse illness and underpins the thinking and behavior of these individuals as psychological wounding. Now, and there could be a whole thing like, say, when he, you know, I feel like one of the things, this is just, you know, and this probably would not necessarily be an uncommon thing for people. So he went through kind of an overweight period, then he lost weight. Now, some people, you know, may feel good about themselves and everything, but it's almost like by, you know, this weight drop, whatever, it's like, okay, no, I'm going to bully you. I'm all in shape. You know what I'm saying? And stuff, there's some weird stuff there. Okay, psychological wounding is nothing new. In fact, many people have psychological wounds from an abusive parent or spouse. And I'm sure there's something going on. There's some weird stuff with the parents. But I also felt maybe when I go to the astrology thing, maybe a father with addictions, a neglectful father, a weaker type of father energy. Okay, just something I feel. Okay, but they do not seek to indulge these. Though traumatized by them, most people try to put these things behind them. You know, they don't seek to nourish these psychological wounds. And see, this is, you know, what readings, this is, we talk about all kinds of stuff all the time. Healing, it's all about the healing road. You know, definitely that we're always trying to get into healing road. Now, I could even step back and not to this level. But, you know, I was talking, you know, to a little mentor group, you know, and I know I did a video, but there was a psychologist I was watching one day, and he kind of presented a thing that an actual PhD psychologist who's, you know, he's been counseling people, but also has done studies, all kinds of stuff. But he was questioning, you know, sometimes I wonder if people really want to heal. Okay, this is a psychologist. And that's a scary thing, I guess, to me, in a way, though he might not be 100% wrong, that there are some people, they may identify their wounds, they have a hard time. Maybe they're just struggling. They're struggling, they're doing their best. But then there are those that just, maybe they just identify with the wounds, that healing is scary. Okay, so I mean, as a spiritualist, and I, talk to people that have their wounds, maybe they had that breakup, maybe they had that bad relationship, maybe they had that narcissist husband, the various things. Getting into healing mode is kind of a difficult thing to do and stuff, but some people can, and please forgive me as I do this, but there is a thing, and I'll flip to it after this article. Even Don Miguel Ruiz, which also is a little Toltec flavor, though mine is Castaneda, but I still like his stuff. When he writes the things like the Four Agreements, the judge and the victim, they can play in mind. We can either be a judge. People can go either or very easily, or be a victim. Okay, and it's real hard. It's real hard. So I mean, I do believe people want to heal. I know people struggle with it. Healing is messy. Healing is hard. Healing is, I hear a cat. Healing is, facing things that are really difficult. But also people can identify with their wounds. They can feel justified in their woundedness to lash out, to do, various things. Okay? But, to consciously, to get better, to get in a healing mode. I want to be very careful, but I will just say a past reading I did, I don't want to, I always like to keep things very, very vague. So I want to keep this, I have to tone it down to keep very vague. Of course, I never give names. But a situation, let me just give kind of a vague situation, reading once when I was talking about, there was a breakup. I was talking about feeling pressure on the other person. So I'm reading for, I read for women a lot. Pressure on the other person, burden, pressure, being weighed down. And I'm expressing this, and they're like, no, they weren't. And see, sometimes people, you'll sit there, you'll be probing, they want to read them, but they really? And everything. Do they really? And see, this is where the reader has to know, is the person open and listening, or are they shutting down what Spirit's trying to say? So this is where you gotta, okay, let's keep going. And yes, there was, when we got a little further in, there were some things that the person had some challenges mentally, very heavy depression. The person was contending with various things, but getting into therapy, be it medication, treatment, therapy, they had been postponing, they had been not doing. So a lot of things were getting unloaded on that other person, and that's why they broke up. So, and we kind of had to sit there. You got to acknowledge. I know you're trying to hide it from the reader, but I can see past this. The whole point is to get to the core. If you want to work this out, you got to acknowledge. And I know sometimes it's hard to admit that, man, I unloaded all my shit on someone. I got my wounds. I got this and stuff. But we also go to acknowledge, we don't want to squeeze people. And that was one of the big messages. I think it's been a message really coming out in 2022, and even a lesson for myself, because some people were squeezing me, is like, you got to learn. I know it's hard. You got to work on yourself, but you don't want to squeeze people, especially those you love. Okay, the people that are closest to you, you got to remember, don't squeeze them, because you'll lose them. Okay, and so a lot of heavy messages. So, but the thing, and we go through that path. Sometimes we cross paths with people that for whatever reason they get us in the mode like, okay, now I got to fight for my life. I got to fight for my life. I got to get my shit together. I got to work on my healing process. If I don't, this, I'm not going to be able to fix this. Or, maybe if I can't work on that, the next one's going to be the same fucking story. Okay, but the resistance was there to hear the message. This one got over, he's loaded. He's weighed down. He's being burdened. No, that's it. Don't fool the reader. Okay? You come in, you want help, but you got to be real for the message. Okay, so see, what I'm saying is, and just by doing that, like when it comes to healing, there can be people that can identify the wounds as that. It's real hard. They can unload, but that's not healing. Unloaded on someone is not going to heal you. Okay, and stuff. And that's what a lot of times people do. Instead of working on the wound and actually let me get to to therapy, or let me get to maybe that spiritual healer, maybe that good person, maybe I want to go that way. I'm going to unload, and I'll feel a little better for a while until the next moment, and I'll load on that person again. And that's what a lot of people freaking do. And that's why they end up alone, and then they have to sit there in their wounds, and there is this big ass void. And then, and if they victimize, well, my parents were this, and the kids at school were that, and whatever, they're not going to heal. Okay? And stuff. And sometimes you just got, the ball is in your court. You got to begin the process. You got to begin the process now if you want to get your life straight. I know it's not easy, but first we got to acknowledge we're squeezing people. Okay? And we can't be doing that. Now let's open up. Let's rip. Here's my wounds. It's time to look. It's time to go within. It's time to do that shadow work. It's time to go in deep. Okay? We got to fix ourselves. But a wound collector obviously is going to feel the victim and justified and all the various things. And this is to an extreme. I'm sure the person did not mean, because there was things they were contending with. This one is intentional. Quite conversely, the wound collector not only hangs on to the wounds, here we go, he perceives, but he also goes out and collects more wounds by selectively looking for those things that support his entrenched beliefs. Through flawed observations, logic, or reasoning, the wound collector is hobbled by a confirmation bias. You probably heard that word a lot, guys. That systematically reinforces a pre-existing belief or position. Convinced of their beliefs, even in the face of contrary evidence, they become saturated and hobbled by their self-created toxic brew of irrational biases. This irrationality in turn breeds hate and contempt for others, two key features abundantly present with wound collectors. So I'm not going to read it's a pretty long art. Well, let me read this part. Beyond a mere injustice, something we have all experienced. Hey, we've all, and sure, maybe you had that boyfriend who treated you like shit, or that girlfriend. It happens to men too. I got guy clients, guys. We've all had some kind of injustice. Okay. Beyond a mere injustice, something we have all experienced, psychological wounding derives deep into the psyche of the individual. This causes them to develop maladaptive pattern of behavior, thinking, or interacting that are inflexible, antagonistic, interfere with interpersonal relationships, or that are significantly distressing to the individual. Yeah, let's read this. For these folks, there is never a fix or cure. Now, technically there is, but in their mind, and this is his cure, right? Nothing is ever good enough, and apologies mean nothing. Yeah, it's sometimes an apology isn't good enough. Now, let me just step there. Sometimes it's not, okay? But I know it depends. I forgive, but you go about your way, I go about mine. Okay, I release this, right? We want to be careful. We don't want to get hurt again, right? But regardless, for them, there is always yet another event they perceive as a slight or grievance. So it's almost like they're looking for a reason to be justified for, stuff. For them, the world holds nothing but nastiness, and it affects how they see the world and how they react to the world suspiciously and with contempt. When irrationality, antagonism, and rigidity combined with unyielding overconfidence in their own sentiments and beliefs go unchecked or are not attenuated, these individuals become metastable, ready to ignite and explode. So I think Spirit just dropped a serious knowledge. I think Spirit said, wound collector, look it up, girl. I've heard the term, but I had not, I know it's a fairly new thing, but this is old news, but it just has a new label. And for us, and like I said, I'm not trying to beat you up, Scorpios. I got some Scorpio little bits in there. Okay, I got some of my own and stuff. But and the Scorpio can be masterful in other areas. As far being able to see the dark, be able to acknowledge, if anything, could be a really good wound recognizer. And let's go in these dark areas and face some things here, right? It could be. So we're getting the gist of it. So as we kind of look at the girls, why them? Somewhere in the interim, obviously spots them, sees them somehow, and they're obviously beautiful people and all that. We know he was checking the house. He's very well aware who lives in there. Like I said, this little clue, Ethan, is just, yep, you were just there. Okay, this is what it's looking like. I almost, Kaylee, I feel is kind of the main. but the others were going to be included. Looking at the fact that we've got 3 cups sitting up there, okay? And the 5 of cups is the outcome in the very first read. 3 cups down, 2 behind. Ethan is not in the picture because he was unexpected. Okay? You see it now? 3 cups down. But we were really focused on one in particular. Okay? But why not the other 2? You know, that's maybe, you know, obviously he was following, you know, the little blonde ones. Some of those little blonde hair, blue eyes. And Xana was in there too. It's very upsetting, I know. I see, that's why I wonder, like, maybe with Dylan and the other one, maybe, you know, like, had they ever been out and about? We'll look at that in a second. Let's just go straight to that outcome. You know, this is a messy layout. 7 of Swords reversed. Obviously caught, we got a lot of evidence. When the 7 of Swords reverses, you know, that whole betrayal, that sketchiness, that seekiness, and everything. But when it reverses, everything is caught out in the open. The whole thing, the whole, you know, revenge, betrayal, whatever you want to call it, it's all there. Okay? So, at least in one thing, thank God, caught. That's the main thing, right? And then you almost kind of sit there, did they almost want to be caught and do this whole thing and become famous? You know, that's, I would say probably not, in the sense, like I said, you know, keeping that mystery there and bringing Moscow to the knees. Knowing Scorpio, and I know my Scorpios know this, Scorpios love to be mysterious. Love a good mystery, love to be mysterious. There is that kind of energy. And some of them don't, you know, they may not be intentionally, or let me see, they may not intentionally be trying to be mysterious, but they are. I've even got a little bit of that aura that some of you be like, that lady, how does she do that with shit? You know, and that's okay. That's you know, there's always there's that weird kind of energy. So knowing that with that heavy duty Scorpio and he's going in masked and all this stuff, I would definitely intend that he did not want to get caught. Okay, I definitely, there's not a, you know, even, I would even go to say even his little inner self, inner soul didn't necessarily want to get caught, but spirit, you know. When I sit there and I just analyze the night, oh, this is going to be a long one, guys. I'm not even done, but it's a good thing to talk about. I know some people, you know, so, like I said, and I might have said it before, you know, why didn't Spirit stop it, whatever, but, you know, when I step and look at the night, I think Spirit, in various ways, you know, the little angels were trying to do some things. Hoodie guy even, okay, kind of there, you know, which the girls were very drunk, which that's, you know, young girls, they go and maybe he doesn't know, but, you know, maybe he was something watching out, you know, kind of energy. Maybe he felt that I just want to make sure that maybe he had a feel, I need to make sure they get home okay, and then he lost them. We also got the Uber kind of situation, you know, this calling the Uber and the Uber being there, but not only that, but the cops that pulled over those drunk guys and stuff. Let me pull over these guys. Little kind of things that are subtle that the Spirit may have going on to maybe mess up something, but unfortunately, it's not that Spirit is necessarily powerless, but Spirit a lot of times works through people, you know, and things, you know, but also, yes, true, we live in a free will universe. But when I kind of step back, I'm like, I can see, I know others may not, little bits of intervention that was at least attempting. Okay, just that's some of my feels. Okay, some of my feels. Little weird little bits of intervention, especially even if I looked at, like I said, maybe even Hoodie, just maybe he had a feel, or even, though he always trips me out, putting up that hood really made me nervous. You guys know. But, I don't know, maybe he thought his hair was messy. But also, the guys getting pulled over, remember the drunk guys, that slowed it down, but unfortunately it didn't stop it. Okay, so there's various kind of things I want to talk there. So the I think we got our answer. He's a wound collector, and it, you know, I mean, and I know the hard why them, but they could have been any 2 little pretty blonde girls. So I'm not necessarily, now we may find out later in the case, could there have been a discussion? Let me ask that one out. And then I almost sit there, would he even have the balls to ask somebody like Kaylee out? Maybe. I mean, it's a possibility, you know, but then I guess there's moments he's been kind of rude with people, maybe called the bartender the B word, bitch. I don't know why I said the B word, because I said bitch on my spirit talk just a minute ago, stuff like that, various things. But definitely there is an issue with women, clearly, I just showed you, with that, especially the Empress, and then going into that Nine of Pentacles, women that, they got that confidence, and, the pretty ones, and everything. But it's a very different, I guess one of the things is I'm kind of sitting here, as I went in Deviant Moon, I guess one of the things is like, it's almost not personal what he did, which I know it's personal. I'm talking about the way he sees it. It's not necessarily personal, but they're not looked at as humans personal, but they're an object and a representation of this victimization wound collector type of thing. But somewhere in there buried, this is the sad part, he feels he's a victim and justified. And that is the sad truth, what we're getting at with this dude. Straight up wound collector. Okay? That's what Spirit's saying. That's the keyword. My keywords matter. But, of course, I had to sit there. Spirit, I don't know exactly what a wound collector is. I've heard it. I heard it recently, but I need Google for that one and stuff. And I know Spirit can't read the whole article in my mind, so let's look it up. But no, wound collector, man, when I just read that, I feel that in my bones. That's somewhere in there. Because just even, like I said, when looking at the chart, and then, I've been reading the energy of this guy before I knew he was, right? Various things. I mean, I felt this kind of weird incel shit for a very long time. Except definitely this, girls like that, don't give me the time of day. I've been screaming that since read 1, right? They don't reject me. They don't give me the time of day. Fuck them. Kind of thing. Fuck them bitches. These prudes, I've been saying that through these reads all along, guys. I definitely felt that. Just one. The other question I want to ask. Yes, I know this is a big one, guys. I know this is a big one. We kind of got into the heart of the matter of what's going on. And that's why, like I said, this is a representation, not necessarily 100% personal, but yet representation of all the girls. You see what I'm saying? Why did he see Dylan? Why were the other roommates spared? She spared because she was obviously, what happened? Okay, I'm going to go to Thoth for this. If I could possibly, I did see a tower glimpse. See that Queen of Swords was protecting those roommates, guys. I told you. I feel that a female officer, probably got a female officer to make the girls feel comfortable, but yet the female officer, if anybody came near those girls, that was it. They were under lock and key, protected Dylan. How did this happen? Now, there's questions looking at the layout of the house. How could he walk past her? How could she? He may have washed his hands in the sink, and if he turned around, then she sees. Maybe he walked toward, and then he just, who knows? Something there. See the innocence of the roommates there? Okay, she's not part of the crime, guys. Okay, if anything, thank God they're alive. And I feel like after the guy is caught and we know there is a witness, people are being a little more sensitive to the roommates, but people got questions. Just know, and that's why I just wanted you guys to understand, shock, believe it or not, let me just put this up there as I do this, shock can last for a very long time. It's not just I snapped out of it 30 minutes later. As a matter of fact, there may not be a determination of how long shock lasts. Was she catatonic for a moment because she was so scared that she couldn't, what I'm saying, just go in the room and hide, make a phone, what did I, what I'm saying? And then we know somebody passes out. We're pretty much an unconscious person and stuff. We don't know all of it. Okay, and I'm sure there's more story. Matter of fact, if I saw that, I don't think I'd get out of my room until, the light. What if her cell phone was dead? For all we know, what if there was no cord in there and the cell phone was dead? There's a lot, I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying what if. I know a lot of young people keep that shit charged, but I also know how easy that, oh God, my shit's dead. Matter of fact, I think the iPad died. Okay, things happen. Maybe your cell phone died. I'm not going fucking out there, so we don't know the whole thing. Okay, so, but let's just go ahead, sit there. Did he see her, and why? Maybe he was tired. He had to get out of Dodge. Things didn't go right. The Ethan thing messes stuff up. I'm having a hard time being able to differentiate which came first. So I'm not going to make a claim that I know. I'm just going to leave that open. I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time with that. I mean, when I focus on the girls, I got the Gemini energy. When I focus on Ethan and Xana, I definitely got Scorpio and Pluto energy. But I'm having a hard time determining, I was hoping something more conclusive, but because I can't get that answer, I'm just gonna leave that be. Maybe another reader can get that, but I'm just not sure. Okay, so first I want to see. God, I already started with thought. I'm just saying, eyes are not the best in this one. Did he see Dylan? And if he did, why did he not do anything? A Six of Cups. So, we got obviously all 6 people in the house. We talked about that. 6 of Cups was in the other read, right? Okay, that comes up a lot. We got, once again, 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords is science. Give me a moment. We got the 3 of Pentacles. There's a lot of focus on this 3 number here. Give me a moment. 3 of Pentacles first. Okay, so I want to just give me a moment. I don't have an eye on this. I'm going to do a little light seer deck here above. I've got something coming to me, but let me sit with it. Like I said, I need people. I need eyes. Now, this is, of course, Mercury. Three Cups again. 3 girls. This is the main focus. 2 of Cups. The 2 left behind. You see it? Ethan is a casualty. 3 Cups of 3 girls that are passed. The 2 that are spared. The Target. This has been Kaylee's card. The Target. Give me a moment. This has been Kaylee's card. But moment, it's all 3s here. As a matter of fact, the Triskel, which is a very powerful symbol even on my path, which can represent the goddess, life, death, rebirth. It is also the goddess Morrigan, god of war. Got the 2 of Cups, the survivors. The main target, kind of specifying the main target energy. Wasn't the focus. The way it looks wasn't the focus. I've got 3s here. But did he see her? That's the one thing. I didn't know they were there. Because he's just been stalking this place. Had to get out quick. 8 of Wands. As a matter of fact, 8 of Wands is reversed. Running out of time. He has to go in quick. He was running out of time. He didn't have time. He was afraid of getting caught. The big strength thing there. He's trying to take strength. He didn't have time. King of Pentacles reversed. Let me kind of go and see. The dog barking. That's why. There it is. That's my answer. He didn't have time. Because Murphy is barking, Murphy saved her life. Period. The dog barked. That explains a lot of fucking shit. King of Pentacles has a dog. It's really a wolf. But that's it. Murphy is the reason he didn't do it. Murphy alerted and made noise. And that made him nervous. He saw her. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he saw her. He didn't have time. He was afraid because of the dog barking that somebody could come to the door. There could be some shit. And everything was alerted. He had to get out. That's why. So little Murphy is a big thing there. You see it right there. You see that? See that wolf right there? Got the target. This is the main. This has been Kaylee's card. The 3 girls is really the focus. That is true. Could have possibly looked at these, maybe, possibly. But Murphy the dog, she stood there frozen in fear. But because the dog was barking, he was, I gotta get out of here. That's the reason why he didn't do it. Murphy saved her life. Let's go ahead and check that. I wonder, just curious. That's what I'm feeling. Flowers. Got the anchor. Crossroads. Definitely hit that crossroads. Well, we know that. Just pull. Sure. I don't see necessarily the dog popping up, but I do, but it did in the tarot. I'm pretty sure Murphy is what Murphy, the dog barking, because of the noise, because the dog barked, he probably just, hoping this dog, you know, it's not that maybe tried to move it out of the way, but because it barked and it may have got a little loud and stuff, the noise, making the noise and stuff. Also, remember there's a thud. Apparently there's a thud. Maybe was concerned, you know, with the noise, the thud, the barking, that could alert maybe somebody to the house. He didn't have time. But especially Murphy, I believe, saves her life. That's why. So I do believe it's looking like he saw her, but he didn't have time. Yes, yes. Man's best friend, faithful and true. And now we know why the dog comes up. So much. Not only just the alerting, but this is the reason why she is alive. Pretty stunning stuff. All right. I hope this helps give a little bit of clues what's going on and stuff. Have a good one, guys.